Welcome to the Microsoft Spotlight podcast. We have another great episode, hopefully today. I am joined by Sophie Dimolo. How you doing, Sophie? You good?
Yeah, good, thank you. Hello, everyone.
So we're without a normal other co-host, Andrew, around today, who told it's the half term in the UK, so all the kids are off school, and he's looking after the children today. So this was booked in way in advance, so and Andrew's asked us to cover today. But today we are covered by Edyta Gorzon, also known as Eddie within the community. A bit easier to say for some people. I think if Andrew was on the podcast and introducing, he would have butchered your name and called you something completely different. So quite lucky. Quite lucky he isn't here today.
Greetings.
So, Eddie, if you'd like to kind of introduce yourself, tell us what you do, and we'll kick off from there.
Okay, thank you for the invitation, Sophie, John, and Andrew. Well, a few words about myself. My name is Edyta Gorzon, and as you said, in Microsoft community, people call me Eddie. It's way easier for everybody, for myself as well. What can I say? Well, first of all, I feel 100% Microsoft community-driven person. I love this community since many years, and I'm doing my best to bring some value, to share my thoughts, to share my knowledge around change management, adoption topics, and of course, Microsoft Teams. And at work, I work at Valo Solutions, a staff-based company, and currently I'm in kind of transition from one role to another because I love challenges. And yeah, when I got an offer to be a part of a product team in my company, I decided to do so. Why? Of course, challenge, it's one thing, but creating the products on the top of Microsoft stack, this is something what brings me a lot of passion. I believe that as a person who loves talking with people, I can also bring those thoughts into material part and build the product that really gives the value to the business.
Wow, what an introduction. That was so good. That was so positive as well. I love that. And welcome. It's nice to have you on the podcast. You say that Microsoft and the Microsoft community is something that's really important to you and something that you want to, add value to and so forth. How did you first start off within the Microsoft community?
Oh, this is a funny story. So by reason I said challenges, I remember it was 2015, 2016. And at that times, I worked for a kind of Microsoft consulting company, but frankly, I was completely green around Microsoft topics. And so I was excited because it was technology, but I had no clue. And a few of my colleagues from that company said, guys, there is something like SharePoint Saturdays across the globe. And we never had any SharePoint Saturday in Poland because I'm from Poland, lived in that times in Warsaw. And they asked me, would you like to help us to organize such an event, or maybe even, pull the strings because you like do different things and you are crazy proactive. And of course, I couldn't refuse. I said, okay, without having much clue about the concept itself and real about SharePoint. Okay, I knew it was SharePoint, but I haven't had any deep understanding what is that. And in 2016, we organized first a SharePoint Saturday Warsaw. I remember Microsoft Office, and I remember when we were selecting the speakers. And that was the day when I fall in love in this community, because it wasn't a conference like I experienced in the past, people with this fancy clothes speaking on the stage and we are so important. No, that event was completely different. I was really surprised how attendees, but also speakers and sponsors, how they were connected, but in the way like family. And then I understood that, okay, community it is a place for everybody, no matter what's your knowledge level, no matter from which area you come from. If you're more from business, more from technical side, those people, they really want to be connected together and share the experience. And that was the year when I fall in love, and I understood, okay, this is the direction I want to follow. And maybe one day I'll be also able to stand on the stage and share my thoughts with the audience, but also, yeah, bring the others to this table and show them how cool working around Microsoft could be. So this is how it happened. A very crazy idea.
Yeah, so you've
I
gone
just
from
agreed.
yeah, so you've gone from like not doing too much in the community to just suddenly just organizing
Yes.
stuff yourself, right?
Yes, 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 yes. I know that maybe it doesn't sound super smart, but I believe that we as human beings sometimes we overthink too much, and sometimes some actions just require the action itself. And yeah, of course I was young and crazy, but I hope that I still kept this optimism and proactiveness. But yeah, this is the way how my personality is shaped.
No, sometimes
And
it's good to
yeah.
jump. Sometimes it's good to jump in with 2 feet, right?
Right. And of course, then I felt inspired by experts, and I understood that this is the place where I want to be, where I want to level up my skills to shape my career on this specific field.
Yeah, definitely.
So thank you, community.
Yeah, I think being part of the Microsoft community, like it is great. And I say to people that, especially at work, I mean, it's not work. So people say to me, "Oh, I can't believe you spend like sometimes you go to like the South Coast Summit, you're there from like Thursday to Sunday, and like you shouldn't be working at the weekend." I'm like, it's not
I
work.
don't work. It's not
It's not
work.
work. It is
Right.
work. To be fair, like the amount of the effort I put in that weekend.
But you don't feel
I
like
came out of
being
it
at
so
work.
tired. It felt like it won't work, but it wasn't work. It was work, but it wasn't. If you get what I mean, like but it was like more of like it's more of a hobby than
Right. Indeed.
work. If you get what I mean. So
Indeed, indeed.
I,
This is something what I'm trying to explain my friends who are not working in this industry, because quite often I heard, why you are working on Saturdays, or do they pay for that? I mean, are you getting any extra money for being a speaker? And I said, no, this is weird. Are you sure? What are you doing? And then I just realized, okay, this is just the way of my living. This is the hobby, and I really appreciate that I got this chance to be a part of this community. And if you're not in the community, it's hard to understand
yeah.
what kind of vibes and what kind of drivers push you to do those extra activities.
And I think it's a
after.
scary jump as well. Like unless you've got people that that already go to community events and stuff like that. Sometimes, often you're going by yourself. Often you go and you don't know anybody. I mean, I went to Commsverse. Is it not like this year, but the year before? And I went there, didn't know anyone. Just turned up, and by the end of the day, I knew X amount more people. By the time you go to the next one, you know even more. Then when I go to the South Coast Summit, you're meeting up with friends that you've met from all the previous conferences, and you go there and you kind of know nearly everybody there. So it's yeah, it doesn't take long, and I say that to a lot of people. You might go to the first one, you might not know anybody, but after the second, third, fourth event, you start to recognize people, you start to know people and stuff like that, and you've got to be outgoing and put yourself out there. How did you find it, Sophie? Like, I think the South Coast Summit was the second one the second one you probably went to.
Yeah, and similar to yourself, John. I mean, I got into the Microsoft community all by myself. I never had, so to speak, a mentor to go into the Microsoft community. It's different now, obviously being in it. I've got lots of people like John and Andrew that do help, but because it was just something that I fell into through LinkedIn and just being within IT, I had to go. So the last year at South Coast Summit, I went completely by myself. But this year it was so strange, like exactly like what you said, John. I was seen as soon as I walked in, someone went, "Oh, hi, Sophie, you're right," and I was like, "Oh, hi," And then people from last year came up and remembered me and said, "Oh, You okay? How have you been doing? So it is nice, and I think we speak to a lot of people where they agree and they say it's like a family. It's a weird family, isn't it? And everyone seems to be similar in their own unique ways. But I've never been in a community like that, and I don't really know of one similar, to be honest.
No, and you hear a lot about like, oh, there might be cliques and all of that type of stuff, and I guess in certain ways that there might be, but I don't think that's not inclusive at the same time. Whereas I think like if there was some type of clique, I think people would be like welcome you in and stuff like that anyway. But yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts around it anyway.
I'm intrigued to know, Eddie, what are SharePoint Saturdays?
Oh, you don't want to know. That's chef.
So
I think if Andrew was here, he'd go, the only good thing about SharePoint is if you put the O out of it, it's SharePoint.
Yeah, it was back in that times when SharePoint was important topic. I mean, the one that was anyhow getting the attention, and now we changed, we rebranded our event for Collab Days Poland. Of course,
Right.
we had a break this year. In previous year, if I'm not mistaken, we had online because of COVID, of course, but now we rebranded to Collab Days, and this is the plan to meet again in person May 17 next year.
There's lots of collab days around the world, isn't there?
Yeah,
so there's one in Brenchley Park, I think, in October in the UK.
Yeah, and there are European. There's a European collaboration summit, and there are smaller events across Europe, and also, if I'm not mistaken, again also outside of Europe. Yeah.
Cool. So let's go back in time. So before you was in IT, what did Eddie want to do when she was at school?
Oh, good question. Good question. I've been studying economics and project management. When I was studying first economics, my bachelor's studies, I felt completely lost. I had an impression that I made a bad decision, and economics, okay, it's something interesting, but something what I don't really, feel it anyhow in my heart, and yeah, just learning something. And then I had a gap here. I've been working in kind of project management, a little bit related with IT, a little bit related with security topics as well. And then project management, because I simply understood that I really like to have a plan and follow click specific milestones and tasks. So that was something what I had in my mind, but I haven't had any dreamed job in that time, just rather having a feeling that job is done, I have a target, I follow and click the things on my list. Yeah, but I also had kind of artistic soul in that time, so I also wanted to be anyhow artistic something, whatever, but maybe in the future.
So then what was it that took you on into the IT industry?
Just by accident. I'm completely honest, just by accident. I found a job offer. I don't know, I went the recruitment process and they hired me. That's it.
So what was the first job that you did?
The first job was kind of project management around IT, in the IT company around security topics, but it was very minor job, nothing really concrete. I've been helping different colleagues, but still the IT was there. But I wasn't 100% convinced if it really resonates with my needs. But then when I finished my studies and I started looking for a new job, of course, minor IT background, at least working for any IT provider, helped me to really work in IT. It was Data Police, that's the name of this company where I worked. And when I first touched Microsoft stack.
Cool. That sounds so. In terms of what out of that job really sparked your interest, if you get what I mean, what was it that kind of like made you think, oh, actually, this is for me. I actually want to do this long term.
I would say that that was just because of the community. Just because of the community. Because in that times, in that job, I just felt that, okay, I have some tasks to be done. They pay me kind of salary. I can participate different trainings. I can observe experts, but I haven't had the feeling that this is the way I want to follow and become similar like my expert colleagues. I simply felt in that times that I'm, I don't know, too green, and I had no clue, and I don't have any IT background in terms of my education. So I remember I felt lost, and I was quite young, and women in IT, I remember different, customer meetings, and yeah, this girl, what she wants from us. But yeah, the community helped me to understand that this is a good direction, that I can always ask everybody for help, and there is a room for different people with different expertise, with different expectations as well. And since I'm not very technical person, I still can help end users to understand technology in a better way. And I can translate IT language into the human language, if you know what I mean, and simply help business to grow thanks to technology. Quite often, we're also brainwashed with the wording we're using, or we assume that just the regular customer or regular end user knows what are we talking about, but I really put a lot of empathy and a lot of effort to really make sure that we're on the same page. I remember also the trainings I had a chance to participate when one of my IT colleagues was leading such a training, and I saw people sitting in the room, different attendees, and they were completely lost. And then I just kind of thought came to my mind, okay, I want to be a person who will be helping those users to understand what kind of value technology really brings, in that sense that they do not afraid to click, they do not afraid to ask questions, they do not afraid to create solutions by themselves. So yeah, that was kind of idea where I want to find myself.
It sounds like you definitely have as well, and that you are doing a lot to give back. You mentioned a little bit of something there, but what has your experience been like as a woman in tech from starting off to now?
I would say at the beginning it was not that easy. I'm not sure if it's related with the local market or in general global market, but in that time, so 7 years back or 6 years back, okay, I was 20 something, 26, 20, 27, and it happened to me a few times when I heard directly from the customer, "Oh, Mrs. Edyta, you are a little bit too young to teach me IT." This is something what I heard, seriously. Or I had an impression that some of the customers or youths who are working in IT on the customer side, that they didn't treat me seriously.
Yeah.
Or when I was in a meeting, it was like, okay, this is with my colleague, male colleague. It was like, okay, he knows the things and she's just assistant. So this is something what I experienced. I'm not blaming anybody because those are kind of stereotypes, and I accept them like they are. But thankfully, the situation has changed, and today or a few years back, maybe 2 years back, I never had such a feeling that, okay, I'm a woman in IT, so it means that it's harder. No, it's not. And I believe that, again, this is thanks to our community, thanks to educating people that no matter if you're a woman or man, who cares? It's all about your skills or about your knowledge. That's it. But yeah, I had hard moments. Maybe I shouldn't say it out loud, but this is what I said. Just letting you know.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear, and I can relate a little bit like that. Like, so me going back 4 years now, when I first started out, I was on some client calls, and even some of my colleagues, and I would get that sense of feeling, nothing too drastic, but they're having to work a little bit harder to get that respect, and having to persuade someone that, you know, you are meant to be on this call and you do know what you're talking about and you are there to help them. We can do everything that we possibly can to try and help them, but if they've already got that thought in their head where it's, you know, this person is too young to be teaching me, or doesn't know as much as I do, or I know more, and it's a waste of my time, so to speak. So I can resonate with that a little bit. Yeah, which is interesting. So what do you do now then within the community to give back?
Yeah, I'm mostly a speaker at the conferences. I love sharing my knowledge. Basically, I'm talking about adoption, how to drive the best adoption, and what kind of extra tools you can use to really drive this adoption in a manner that works. Before I joined Valo, I've been working as a consultant, and I used different methods like this design thinking, for instance, how design thinking might help you to define the best usage of Microsoft Teams. So we are not just launching the Teams and checking how users are using Teams, but we brainstorm together, we build the solutions. I mean, we brainstorm the concept of those solutions, then we build them, and then we start adoption to have kind of nice, already made infrastructure to train the users. Because if they start with empty application, they probably will not feel very comfortable. This is something new for them in many cases. I'm talking also about the governance, why it is important, and what kind of Microsoft Teams governance I experienced in my life, what I saw on the customer side. So they just launched Teams, they haven't thought about governance, and those are the mistakes that happened, and what should be done before, and what should be done now to clean up the mess we have done. So when I'm speaking mostly about the use cases, because I'm not good at talking just because of talking. I rather use the examples. I experienced by myself what I have learned, just to share some knowledge with the audience.
And I can see that you've got an MVP jacket on. So, you know, how has it been being an MVP and your experience?
Of course, this is great experience. I'm thankful that I got this award. The first one was in 2019, and frankly, I think that I was a bit shy when I got it. I felt kind of pressure on my shoulders that, okay, now I'm MVP. It means a lot, and if I'm able to really bring the value that MVP stands for. And of course, it triggered me a lot to learn more, to develop myself, to really put attention on the different points from my area. And of course, it's a kind of luxury good that I'm getting different benefits. But I think that I wasn't prepared for that. It was kind of shocking for myself that I got a nomination first and then award. But I'm super thankful, and I'm doing my best to have it as long as possible. But I don't. I mean, my colleagues, they're always laughing that I'm not saying much about MVP when we have kind of team introductions and so, because I believe that this is just a part of my hobby, as we said. So I don't have to. Hey guys, I'm MVP, and this is extremely. This is the first thing in my CV. Of course, this is important for myself, but this is something what I'm doing just for myself. And if somebody can simply benefit in my company, for instance, from that, I'm more than happy. But yeah, maybe I'm too shy while talking about that. I don't know. But of course, yeah, I'm extremely grateful
Yeah,
that
and
I
it's
got it.
amazing that you've got it, you know, for the last 3 years or whatever it is. And did you have anyone who inspired you with, you know, to get MVP, or anyone that helped mentor you through that transition? Or
Of course, there were a few people. I remember, I'm not sure, should I use the names or not?
yeah, you can do. Yeah, that's fine. It's your time.
Yeah, I remember that it was beginning of 2019, and I spoke with Jussi Mori, his Finnish MVP, and I think it was Samuel Zucker from Switzerland, and we've been talking about MVP. And Eddie, why you are not MVP? You are doing so much things for our community. You should be the one. And I said, okay, guys, you are extremely smart. You know the IT things. I'm not that fluent like you are, so I think that it's not the, it's not the right award for myself. And they said, why not? Just go for it. The fact that you have different skills is great because we are a community. And if we all are the same, we don't bring the value. The perfect thing in this community is that we have different skills, different mindsets, different background. And thanks to that, we can grow together. So I remember that sentence, go for it. And then it was kind of breaking point because I always afraid of speaking. I don't know. Don't ask me why, but for some reasons the speaking skills were not, in my eyes, the best. But I made a decision. Okay, I will write. I will just apply for different conferences, and I will push myself to, to do something outside of my comfort zone.
Mhm.
And my first speaking session was is in London at SharePoint Saturday. And yeah, that was very important moment in my career. In my
Oh.
career, it's not a career, but it's rather, yeah, working on my skills and my personality. And then I understood, okay, it's not that scary. Of course, maybe it wasn't the best session ever, but I did something new, and I understood that, okay, nobody judged me. People said that it was nice session. I got few questions, so it means that I'm able to share some knowledge,
Mhm.
some ideas that might be useful for the others. And yeah, then another conference, another event, and then I got a nomination from one of my colleagues. Of course, I said, no, 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 it's too early, too early. No, no, you have to do it. And yeah, I did it.
Wow,
How
I
well,
did
fill
you
out the form.
congratulations.
how did you find the transition over to like the virtual events during the lockdowns and stuff like that?
Oh, I would say when COVID has started, I was kind of even happy that I don't have to travel that much because previous year was crazy. I remember the weeks that's okay. I've been in 3 or 4 different capitals during 1 week. So I really had to focus at the airport where I'm flying today, just to make sure that
Mm.
that I'm taking a right gate. Uh, but uh, but after half a year, yeah, it was hard. It was hard. I've been a bit depressed. Of course, I delivered plenty of sessions via online events, and I was happy that we have a platform like Teams to be connected and to anyhow create new reality. However, it was kind of depressing. I'm rather extrovert, so I need people to interact. Of course, having a session is one thing, but everything what is happening around the event, it's very hard to make it in the virtual world.
Oh, I really dislike the virtual events. Like I've done quite a few this year, say like 5 or so virtual ones, but the in-person ones are just so much better, so much
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
Like because the thing is about the virtual events is like you see say like 10, 15 participants, and you're like, I wonder how many people are actually there. Like,
Yeah, what are they checking their mailbox or
yeah,
what are they doing? Yeah.
A lot of
are they?
distractions, I feel.
Yeah, just like, are they actually there? Are they maybe not? And then in person, at least you can I like to interact with the audience when I'm speaking, like, ask questions and, see how people are when they react to things you say. And you just don't get that online. And like you make a joke or something in virtual, and then obviously
And
no one can laugh, or you can't gauge an audience reactions and stuff.
yeah,
So it's so hard.
it is. I heard that there is no big difference when you are just having a session at the virtual conference or you are just having a presentation in front of your customer online. There is no big difference actually. Customer quite often is even more engaged than the audience at your conference, unfortunately. But yeah.
I mean, I just this morning done a like an hour and 45-minute demo for Defender for Cloud Apps. And like, at least through that, I'll say to the customer, like, do you understand that? Did you get that? Do you want to go through anything else? And then you get reaction. Like, it's a lot nicer than I think customer. And I've always said to people, especially when doing talking engagements, they're like, oh, aren't you nervous about talking in front of people? I'm like, no, like, this is like, I'm talking to people in a community. Like, these people were all like similar people to me. Like, I've got no reason to be nervous about it at all. The ones I'm nervous about is when I'm talking to a CTO or a CEO or someone who's going to make a decision within the company. That's when you got to be a little bit like not nervous, but a little bit like on your game and stuff like that. But for for when I'm talking there, I'm talking to people who are part and parcel of us, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. So I think the hybrid model also has its good and bad points. Yeah. But that reality when we were just online, was hard. I fully agree. At the beginning, I saw the big wave. There were many people participating those kind of events, and then suddenly big drop. It was really hard to get the audience for online conferences. At least this is what I have noticed. Plenty of registrations, but very low presence.
Yeah, definitely. I think I done the Cincinnati Friday last week, and again, it was one of those. I think I had about 10 or 15 people in each one, but I don't know how many people were actually there. Like,
That's right.
Cool. So, what's for you your like normal working day now? So I know you said just now you used to travel a lot. You're in 3 different countries in a week. What's it now? What is it like now for you?
Now, I mean, now it's quite busy. Thankfully, we have more and more in-person events. So recently, I've been speaking at Collab Days Belgium, helping with cloud summits, some community reported things, and there were plenty of events. I don't even remember. I should check my schedule. So it was quite busy, and I'm very happy that it happened to me. And next one is ESPC. But yeah.
That was in Sweden, isn't it? ESPC.
Denmark. Copenhagen.
That's it, yeah.
Denmark, yeah. Copenhagen. Anyway, my regular daily job. So as a partner manager, of course, somebody who is responsible for partner network, and my role was being responsible for EMEA region, quite big region for Valo business. So plenty of meetings with the partners across the Europe to support their business, to help them, of course, to sell Valo, but also support with project scopes and so yeah, quite busy days with headset all the time on my ears. And now I'm transitioning to the other team, so I'm not sure what to expect and what will be the schedule. But on the other hand, I'm really excited about new future and what can I bring to my table. Yeah. But the big tip, start your day with the big tasks, and then you can relax afterwards. This is what I'm doing. I know it's hard. But if you have any big topic to be solved or any problem, it's better to do it in the morning.
Yeah, that's generally my way of doing it.
But it's hard. But it's hard to change the focus. I always had the opposite.
I always try to get things done as soon as possible. Like the big ones that I always leave the documentation to the end.
Admin.
Yeah, documentation always leaves to the end. But if it's anything like techie or anything like that, or something cool, proof of concepts, and I'm on that straight away. But
yeah. And I also don't understand the jokes when somebody is saying that they have plenty of emails in their mailbox. My mailbox is, of course, I'm getting a lot of emails, but I'm cleaning and distributing the things quite quickly.
I'm the exact same.
Same. Okay, so you know, hundreds or 200.
Yeah.
And do you have
the exact same as you?
And any rules and formulas in your Outlook?
No,
you don't.
Well,
okay.
Not so much. I mean, the thing is, how I like to do it is I like to, if I see an email coming, I like to flag it if obviously it's important or I need to distribute it or whatever else. But I'm quite on it. I'm quite on it with my emails.
Same. You are my team.
John, how many emails have you got?
2,556.
How you can live with that? I would have nightmares.
I know.
But 2,500. I think all the important ones I've read. Like all the ones there I don't need to read. Like.
But do you not just delete them?
Yeah.
No, let's go through. Mark all.
And this slide
as
smile.
Red.
No.
I've just marked them all as red, so therefore, there we go. We're done.
Dear me. So
that's my email. That's my email cleared up now whilst we're on the question.
No way. Yeah, that's it. Eddie, what advice would you give to someone wanting to get into the tech community?
To somebody who wants to get, okay. What I would say, I think that I would recommend any small community event for free, like collab days or any other event that is nearby to you, just to feel the vibes and see if you like it or not. I'm sure that you will like it, but step by step. What else? I'm always saying that you can reach out to me directly. I'm always happy to share some insights about the community, where to start, because there are plenty of different information. This channel, another channel, this meeting, another meeting. So basically, it's hard to start. I don't know that it sounds weird because we have plenty of options, but it's also not the best when we have too many options. At the end, we don't know which option is the best. So just try with the small steps. Go to any in-person event if it's possible. Start first conversations and really don't hesitate to ask people directly. This is what I did plenty of times in my life. Of course, it was again kind of outside of my comfort zone, but on the other hand, why to create bottlenecks? Why to, feeling that's okay, this person is super shiny expert and is different than I am. No, this is just human being. This person achieved a lot, big respect, but this person has similar problems like we have. Any family problems, any, I don't know, headache in the morning, or any allergy, whatever. So this is something what I also heard, that many people, they have problems to ask experts directly because they treat them like, I don't know, any heroes, any gods, somebody who has special powers. No, it's not like that. We all are human beings, and it's not about B2P, so B2C, business to customer. It's not about B2B. It's actually P2P, people to people. We're all the same. It's just a matter of experience. It's just a matter of expertise. But yeah, we can learn from each other.
There's something that our last guest, or the one that's just been recorded, said, which really resonated with me, is that people don't buy off organizations, they buy off of people.
Right.
And I think that's a good thing to think about in business and everything else, is that it's the people that matter. Who said that, Sophie? Do you remember?
Yeah.
So Colleen at the South Coast
Colleen
Summit.
Jackson from Cloud Nine, yeah. That's it. Yeah. Colleen, if you're listening.
Yeah. Anyway, we're kind of getting towards the end of time now that we've got. So got kind of one kind of question for you to finish off. That's okay. And that is, what's the future for you? What's like the end goal in the career? What do you really want to get done before you retire and call it a day?
Have you said end goal? I don't like endings.
No, like when you before your career, what's the one thing you want to do?
I don't have answer for this question, unfortunately, John. I like to experience. I like new challenges, and more I'm trying, more I want to try. Maybe it sounds weird, but I know that some people, they simply want to focus on one specific area and they are fine with that. In my case, I like new challenges. I like experience. This is something what I also like in my private life. It gives me wings. It gives me power. I'm not getting bored that easily. So yeah, as many as possible experience if I can. That would be my dream scenario for the future.
Love that.
Awesome. Sophie, anything you want to end on?
No, I think that's a great way to end.
Excellent. Cool. All right. Anyway, it has been another great episode, and Eddie, you've been a great guest for us. It's gone quite quickly. If you notice, about halfway through, I realised I accidentally scheduled in an interview with somebody at my work, and I was like, oh no. So even halfway through, I was like, oh no, I just got a notification saying I've got to interview someone, so I had to try and cancel that really quickly.
Thank you, guys.
Great episode, and
nice.
Great guest, Eddie. So a pleasure to meet you, and maybe we'll see each other at an event soon.
Hopefully, yeah, fingers crossed. Take care, guys.
Cool, right, everyone. Thank you for listening, and check us out next time on the Microsoft Spotlight podcast. Remember, YouTube listeners, like and subscribe, and follow us on Spotify. Take care. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Microsoft Spotlight podcast. Please make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button to help us promote our message. You can also follow us on Twitter at MSFT Spotlight, and we're also on LinkedIn, the Microsoft Spotlight podcast. And finally, we'd like to tell you a little bit about BitTitan and thank them for sponsoring this podcast.
Remote migrations start here. Let MigrationWiz do the work for you. It's fast, secure, and 100% SaaS, which means you can migrate at any time and from anywhere. Migrate mailboxes, documents, public folders, personal archives, or even Microsoft Teams with just a few clicks. No special training needed and no customer downtime. When the work matters, choose MigrationWiz.